Sir Rio.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, bro?
I'm doing fine, Chris. How are you doing? Yeah, man.
I'm doing well enough. It's another Thursday, another day for the Music Hacks
Yeah,
Network.
that's
All
right.
right. And last week when I posted your poster, one of the comments from one of the persons who viewed it
Mm-hmm.
said, finally. That person has been waiting for ever since for Rio to appear on the Music Hacks Network.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to
But
be here
nevertheless, yes, man, nevertheless, nothing happens
before time.
before the time. All
True,
right.
true. Mm-hmm.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna welcome all the persons who are viewing on YouTube at this time. A special welcome to the Music Hacks Network. I really missed you guys. I couldn't wait until this Thursday. All right, to see you guys on the network again. Also to the persons who are joining us on Zoom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me hope that you are ready to ask Sir Rio all the questions that you have been waiting to ask him. All this time you have been seeing him performing on stage. The day is finally here when we get to interact with Danero, Sir Rio Ferron. All right, Danero. Let's get into a little bit of conversation as to how
Mm-hmm.
your personal musical journey has developed or progressed over the
Mm-hmm.
years. But before we actually go into that, I'm going to ask you to sort of introduce yourself rather, to the persons on YouTube and also persons on Zoom. Who is Sir Rio?
Okay. All right. Greetings, Hacks family. My name is Danario Ferran, and I'm just a humble musician. I'd say I'm just really a lover of music. I think music defines who I am. When I'm sleeping, I'm music. I'm thinking about music. I have been playing for some years now. I'd say something over about 10 years, or maybe about 10 years thereabout. And I'd say for the last 5 years or 5 to 7 years professionally. You know, um, as I said, I love music. I think I'm a chill guy. I love having fun. I like composing. I like creating music, creating good content. I love arranging. And as the show progresses, I guess you'll know more about me.
Awesome. Is there anything that happened during your development as a child that still stays with you as a musician, and it's very impactful in your musical career?
Well, well, let me start out by saying, my father taught me how to play. My father, most people know this. My father is a pastor, so I grew up in church and thing. I'm still in church. Yeah, man, still in church.
I, I yeah, but
I bet
the
you didn't
last
know that.
time, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man,
I
I know.
did not know that, Sir Rio. It's the first time I'm learning that, and I
Yeah,
also learned that about Paulos a
yeah,
couple of
man.
weeks.
Fathers, people them are pastor too. Mommy. My mommy a missionary. My father a pastor. So we grew up in church. Deep in church,
Right,
bedded in church. But
right.
my father taught me how to play. My father is
Mm,
also a musician. He's an artist as well. But
okay.
he at back then I'd say God gifted me. I'm going to say God, yeah, of course. All good gifts come from God. So definitely it's a gift, the love for it. And I started out playing drums at church. So that was my
Wow.
first, yeah, man, playing drums. I'd say, good drums, especially at my age when I was about 7 or 8, I was playing good drums, managing for myself. But then by the time I was maybe about 10, somewhere there, back then them used to use guitar, straight guitars and bass and and drums. There was no keyboard. Keyboards weren't so,
Oh
yeah,
Lord.
man,
The
prominent back
chinganaka,
then.
that
Yeah,
type
man.
of brushing.
Yeah, man. There was this, you knock on your tambourine and the guitar,
Right.
and of course the bass guitar and the drums, and that was it. That was the band right there, gits, bass, and drums. So back then I grew up, playing drums, but then the guitarist that was there, he migrated, and someone um bought a keyboard for the church. It was just there, nobody could play it, and he migrated, and not long after, the bass player migrated to married and leave the church. So, there was just drums, there was just me and my friends. And the thing is, I love challenging myself. I saw that there was a gap and there was a need for a keyboardist at the church. So I took it upon myself. My father, as I said, is a musician. My father is not a proficient keyboardist. He's really a guitarist, but the thing is,
Well,
he,
you said that again.
eh?
I remember Otis said that the first time
Mm-hmm.
his dad he taught him to play keyboard. He was playing in two, holding down two keys and stuff like that. What was
Hold
that?
on, wait. Don't take away my story. Because
All right.
Either Oti take away my story, or,
Yeah.
we're just living the same life, or we've lived, well, him older than me. But pretty much, we have the same experience, because that's the same thing I was about to say. My father is not a proficient keyboardist, but, in C, I have literally, all right, my first song, the one and only song he taught me, was Amazing Grace. And this was in the key of C. So those of you who are seeing my iPad or my next camera, you'll see the keyboard. This was it. And them two, little finger here. Yeah, man.
Try and play
Amazing
that.
Grace.
You're right. Try and play that song. Let us see.
All right. Amazing Grace. I know the words. Na, 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 na. And that was it. Na, na, na. Of course, the three cards, play any song pretty much. And it was just from the C to the F and to the G and then back to the C. And that was the song. And that's all I could
Wow.
do. And, over the years, as I said, my father is a musician, being in church, and me being myself, and I love challenging myself. Over the years, he would have imparted to me, whatever additional knowledge he had, and he did just that. And, I took that knowledge and I literally started practicing. So there was no formal teaching in my early days of playing. When I started playing, it was just from the two finger, and then we start use 3, then 4, then 5, then 6,
Right.
7, 8, 9, 10.
When did you start to be exposed to other influences now, like stronger persons who you could have learned from?
Are you speaking like persons around me?
Well, persons around you and persons who you would normally see on television and
Okay.
stuff like that.
All right. So let me first say that there was literally no one around me to impart any amount of knowledge where the keyboard is concerned. And I think for some people, it's, some people get it rougher than some. For me, that was me, because, you couldn't really, there wasn't, again, in that period, the keyboard wasn't as, prominent as the guitar and whatever. So you didn't find a lot of keyboardists back then. Churches have evolved over the years, and again, I started in church, still in church, but over the years you find more keyboardists now. A church will have a keyboardist and a drummer, and that's it. That's the band, really. But the point I'm making
Yeah.
is, I didn't really have anyone. Over the years, I'd say locally, there was a guy, he's like a big brother to me now that I'm thinking about it. Lamar. I hope Lamar is on this because I told him to join. But the point is, Lamar was one keyboardist who I saw in St. Anne. And the first time I heard brass, the sound of brass on keys, like that blew my mind. And so he was a really good player, still is. And, that kind of influenced me. People like Chris Wright, you know what I mean? But then Chris has been a genius from day one. And every musician, every keyboardist, I know without a shadow of a doubt, that they can say Chris Wright has influenced them one way or the other. whether directly or indirectly. Does his drive, does his creativity, does the way how he thinks. Of course, you see someone like that playing for Jermaine Errors from day one, and you say, all right, one day, you see him playing for Rondell too. I worship. So one day I said to myself, one day I'd really love to play on a stage. That was always my dream. Want to play on a big stage. And back then I was playing a Fifi. Fifi is what
A
we call.
Fifi.
Yeah, man. Fifi is what
Don't
we
say
call.
don't say Casio.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, you have some really high class Casios still, but
Uh,
back then, a Fifi is anything that low quality, low brand keyboard that just can do the rear, minimum.
right.
But I was just really exposed to Fifis. I was just a Fifi guy. I was just Fifi all the days of my life, and I always said I want to play a good keyboard.
Uh, can you unmute? Just unmute your mic for me.
Hearing me now?
Yes.
Yeah, man. So I said I always wanted a big keyboard, to play, and but as I said, and internationally, I would say Corey Henry would be, one person that I've been seeing him from, day one. You go on YouTube and you just type in bad keyboardist or, nice organist or whatever. He always pops up. So I'd say, to some extent, Corey Henry, locally, Chris Wright, and of course my big brother, Lamar.
What do you take from Corey's style of playing
The
to
thing
add
with
to yours?
Listen, I can answer this very quickly. The thing with Corey is the fact that Corey knows no limit where his skill set is concerned. For me, especially when it comes down to runs, skills, runs, that was Corey. Anybody that knows Corey, you'll know that he fuses a number of skills, riffs, runs, all of that jazz. He creates his own style. That was another thing too I took from Corey. Corey has a sound that is unique to just Corey. And one
Right.
thing I said to myself, I want to have a sound. Back then I was saying, I want to be the best keyboardist. And that was like I think I said to myself, I want to be the best keyboardist. Over time, maturing and learning, there's no best keyboardist, and there needs to be no best keyboardist. Everybody has their craft and everybody's unique in their own way. So, what I took from Corey is just really taking your own style, you know, don't put in any, not putting any limit on your skill set, and just anything that comes to your mind, play it. Literally
Right.
anything.
I'm quite happy that you mentioned that Corey has a unique style, and when you hear
Mm-hmm.
that particular style, you can identify that style with Corey. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to ask you this. I've asked this question a lot of time on the network.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm putting this question to you. Tell us or describe to us what Surreal's style of playing is. What does it sound like?
All right. What does my style of playing? I guess the best way to describe this is really to play, and then at least try attempt with words to describe it. So for me, everybody, you're hearing the keys?
Yes, man.
Yes. Okay. All right. So for me, I mean, I think that's the most basic way I can play. And for me, someone might say, well, I mean, that might sound like somebody else or what? What did you do a while ago that would, separate you from everybody else? For me, I like using licks and runs and merging them, or pressing them together in order to make, to play my cards, and to, at least, what would I say now, emphasize the melodies of a song. So like for me, I'm actually playing the melody of the song, playing the cards, but really and truly, I'm just really focusing on the melody of the song, you know? And using the melody of the song, I use my, adding my own little style and way, my own approach to really just play the melody of the song, and of course at the same time um complement the chords, which are really basic that I'm playing with it. So I
Right.
mean, if I should use words, no one has ever asked this question. A very good question. I think my style of playing is really just, you know, it's more melody based, and most of my playing, most of my cards are melody based, in the sense that even with their movements, you will always hear a melody in the progression of my cards. From card one or point A to point B, you will always hear a melody being, established or, accented right out throughout my playing. So yeah.
Right. That seems to be a very important skill as a keyboardist. But there are guys who are predominantly chord structured players.
There we
They
go.
play only chords and no melody.
Yeah.
All right. What would you say to those type of players?
Uh, I mean, there's not much to say, the reality about it. And of recent times, I've developed this way of thinking. For me, cards are important. Everything has its place. And further in my presentation, you'll hear this coming out a lot. Everything has its place, and it's a matter of what works best when. For me, I'd say to the keyboardist or keyboard player that just knows cards. Melodies are important too. You know what I mean? Because you have people that they'll give you a bunch of cards, but if they're supposed to play a simple song like this, as a they can't do it. But of course, if you play see, even a while ago, that's not actually a melody of the song, but I just can't help it. That's because that's my style of playing. But I'd say to that person, I mean,
Yeah.
learn to play a melodies because it comes in hand. There are a lot of times, especially with for me, when I'm playing behind a singer, and that singer is pitchy. Sometimes you have to help them with the melody, just to help them to stay on pitch. That works well in those cases. And of course, the person
Right.
that only plays melody, chords are important because that chords are really just the body. It adds flavor and texture to whatever you're playing. So chords are important, melodies are important. It's a good balance is always good.
Right. Let's look more into who you are as a business person, a
Okay.
businessman. I know you have a particular brand,
Mm-hmm.
right? That brand is actually printed on your shirt right there.
Yes.
I know that you are multi-skilled, right? Now, but how do you
Mm-hmm.
approach the whole business of music,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that you are able to make your thing as diverse as it is now. How do you approach it?
All right. So for me, Chris, one of the things, again, it's always a learning process. I'm learning daily, and each lesson becomes clearer as the days progress. For me, I've learned over the period that the love for music alone will not cut it. That's number one. I think that's a very strong statement. I'm a lover of music, but the love for music alone won't cut it. For me, presentation is everything. And I've over time I'm learning that, discipline. It's a discipline. For example, um, we're on music hacks, you know. I have to wear my shirt. Presentation, marketing is important. And I'm going to show you how I fuse my love for music and being a multi-instrumentalist, how I fuse those elements and understanding, of course, presentation. The tackiness now go work, Chris. And I think as musicians, sometimes we think our style, our craft rather, can cover up for these things. As a musician, punctuality is important. We play a lot of gigs, we play in churches, we play at different events. Punctuality is important. Being prepared, preparedness is important. You have to be prepared for whatever task it is, whatever gig it is. Be prepared. Practice the material before. Practice, then go to rehearsal. then rehearse what you've practiced. Don't go to rehearsal to learn. These and these are really wide things, but one would ask, how does this work into business? The reality about it, the principles and the disciplines which are attached to these things, they come right over into your business ethics. You get me? DF Productions, for those who don't know, is primarily a production company, that caters to everything production, from music, from a visual point of view, if it's streaming, lighting, um what would I say, lighting, photography. Let me just like list out some of the stuff so I'll get a basic understanding. DF Productions caters to, um it's a studio, number one. We have a studio, we do mixing, jingles, all of that jazz. We have a rehearsal space that, of course, artists, musicians, if you have a gig and you need a space with, that is filled and furnished with instruments, everything that you need, it's here. That's how the business started out primarily. But of course, over time, I've branched off to photography, videography, graphics, graphic design, lighting, streaming, um, what would I say now? But this caters, Chris, to a wide range of production, backline, events that need backline, we provide all of that. And of course, where the studio is concerned, we cater to from, consultations, songwriting, music lessons, because DF production caters to that too. And of course, mixing, beat production, producing musicians for hire. We cater to all of that. Now, the question really was, how do I take my skill set and I fuse it into these things? It's really simple for me. I ensure that the core values I'd call them, as it relates to business etiquette is in place. So for me, I try to, use my skill, my talent, and of course use it to monetize. The reality is it's a business, and sometimes the love for it gets in the way, and we feel like our skill set alone can cut it. No, it takes work, it takes hard work, it takes networking, and of course, consistency is key. But really and truly, Chris, for me, I'm just really just trying to do my very best. It's a uphill task at times, but that's really how I'd say I fuse, all of my little skill sets into, the business aspect of things. As I said to you, just keeping those elements, punctuality, self-respect, and respecting your customers, you know what I mean? Putting your best foot forward at all times, presentation, image, all of that jazz, all these factors, I think about them and I try to fuse them together and just do my very best. Still a work in progress, but that's really how I approach it.
Where are you located?
I am located in Maple, Clarendon at the moment. We'll be branching off in, and I'm saying this by faith, in
Right.
different parishes and different areas, locally and internationally. But for the time being, we're located in Maple, Clarendon.
All right, Sir Rio. All
Mhm.
right, I'm going to allow you to go into your presentation at this time.
Mhm.
If you notice, I am not getting into too much question because we have a lot of persons here, and I know they will be asking you a lot of the questions that
Mhm.
I would have asked. So I try to reserve that for our viewers and subscribers, and also the persons who are on Zoom. But what
Okay.
exactly is your topic tonight?
All right. So my topic really tonight is, it's really focused on arranging, both vocals and band arrangement. So
All
it's
right,
it's really the approach to arranging vocals. And
and
mhm.
why have you chosen that topic?
I think how should I put this? I think I don't do badly when it comes on to vocal arrangements. I try to put my very best foot forward, and people say they like it. They like my approach to it. So that being said, if it's something that people like, obviously something is working, and I would like to share that with people. And then, of course, the same approach when it comes on to band arrangements. People generally say they like it, and for that reason, I want to share it with my friends and family here at Music Hacks.
Awesome, bro. All right, at this time, um, after you finish your presentation, I know you're gonna play another song for us before you actually go into your presentation. But after that, we're gonna give a few shout outs to the persons who are viewing on YouTube and also to the persons who are on Zoom. I realize you have a lot of friends here with us on Zoom. And guys, if you have not subscribed to the Music Hacks Network as yet, right, I'm seeing a lot of new faces, a lot of new names. Make sure you go to YouTube and you search for the Music Hacks Network and hit that subscribe icon, right? And also like this video. All right. Sorio, are you ready to play for
Yeah,
us?
you're pulling up on my
All right.
program. Mm-hmm.
All right, so guys, welcome again to the Music Hacks Network. This is where we are on a Thursday at 7 p.m. All right, I realize TJ is putting the link inside the chat for the YouTube channel. All right, do click the link and go over there and subscribe and hurry back to Zoom. All right.
All right. So pull this up. All right, you there, Chris?
Yes, man. All is well.
Yeah, man. So you can go ahead. You said you're going to do us some shout outs, right?
Go right into your presentation
Okay.
at
Okay.
this time.
All right. Nice. So, greetings, everybody. Good night. At this time, I'm going to ask if you can unmute your mics, and for those who can, see if you can turn your videos on, so at least I don't sit here looking on names and just a blank screen and so forth. That would be gladly appreciated. But tonight, so let me say good night again. See if I can hear some people. Are you guys there?
Yes, we hear you. Greetings.
Good night.
Nice. Big up. So let's go right into it. So tonight, of course, as I said earlier, we will be focusing on vocal arrangements or arranging vocals and band arrangements. So naturally, we're going to do a quick little breakdown as it relates to what exactly is an arrangement. What exactly is a vocal arrangement? Let me start off with that. Now, arrangement refers to the way a song is sung, more specifically how the vocals, harmonies, melodies, ad-libs are arranged or are placed around each other. You get me? Are we hearing that? So
Yeah,
this,
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, nice. So this refers to, how a song is sung or how the vocals, the melodies. Let me see if I can give a holistical definition where band is concerned. This has to do with how a piece of music is played, you know, um, the melodies, the instruments, the riffs, the runs, you know, everything that is played, everything that is sung, how these things, you know, come together, and of course how we place one around each other. Now, for me, naturally, I'd have to give you my way of arranging things. You know, that's the best way. I think I could explain it. Some of the questions that we're going to cover is what makes a good arrangement. Um, what is important to include when we're arranging, and is there something as a bad arrangement? And of course, we're going to be focusing on the use of harmonies and unisons, and of course, different sections and grouping melodies and so forth when we are arranging. So for me, so guys, sometimes when you're arranging music, sometimes when you're arranging vocals, sometimes it's hard, you know, and I think why it's hard because we put so much focus on what we're doing. I think the best arrangements come from the heart. The first thing we need to accept is that we're all creatives in our own rights. And, you know, sometimes our biggest competition is really ourselves. And sometimes we kill our own self just because we're trying to match up with someone else's arrangement, someone else's style of playing, when really and truly there's only one of you, and you bring a unique take or a new unique trait to whatever you are doing. So, you know, that goes without saying. Each person, when you're arranging, try to go or try to arrange in accordance to what you can do. The reality is, there are a number of us that are really skilled, you know, and probably can play at the level of Corey Henry. But the reality is, Corey Henry's arrangement is Corey Henry's arrangement. You know, try do your own thing. So that being said, let's move on. So earlier in my definition, I said to you that this is really how a song is sung, and more specifically how a vocals, harmonies where vocal is concerned, melodies, ad-libs are arranged or placed around each other. What is an arrangement? Let us see if we can put this in. Now, earlier you listened to something, and I'll play it back one time just for reference, and I'll break down my approach to this little arrangement that I did for you guys. So let's see if we can take a listen. All right, so let's jump into my approach. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'm going to ask Chris, see if you can allow me to share my screen. Tell me when I can.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, man. Okay, nice. Perfect. All right, so greetings. Let me know when you're seeing my screen. Are we seeing my screen? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Awesome. So I am using Logix at the moment. So naturally, you're seeing the session files here. And you're seeing each instrument from kick, snare. Are you seeing my cursor be moved up on the screen?
Yes.
Are we seeing it? Okay, nice. So you see kick,
Yes.
the snare, the hi-hat, the toms, and all of that. Jazz, piano, EP, synth, strings, lead vocals, harm 1, 2, and 3. Bass, of course. So these are the elements that come together to make that little arrangement that I did for you guys. I didn't have a lot of time to create anything. I just whip up something, boom, and say, all right, I'm going to do this for you guys. And I'm going to use this to break down my approach to arranging stuff. So the first thing you want to think about when you're arranging is, most times for me, when I'm arranging, I don't know the ending of it. It works differently for people. Sometimes you see and sometimes you hear the whole thing. Majority, 9.5 of the times for me, I don't hear my entire arrangement. And sometimes I think it works best that way. You know, you have an idea. An arrangement most times start out with an idea. So in this case, this was an idea that I had in the spur of the moment. All of these instruments were played live. You know, I have the studio, so I just went over, boom. I pressed record and go on the drums, and I started playing. I said to myself, what can I do with this? Again, I didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but at the end of the day, it is okay, good. At the end of the day, it's an arrangement. And again, so the things you want to do, you want to know what you're trying to arrange. You want to have an idea, firstly, to arrange with, right? So let me say that one more time. The first thing you want to keep in mind or have in mind when you're arranging is an idea, and of course, how you would want to arrange things. So it could start out with a beat. In my case, that was the beat. You get me? That was the beat in my case. So I had drums right here. Let me see. Yeah, let me just solo the kick, the snare, and the hi-hat. So my arrangement started out really like this. And you can listen to the drums. So yeah, it just started out with that. So I heard that beat in my head and I said, all right, I started playing. So tum, tam, tum, tum, you know, and tam, tum, tam, tum, tum. So that is how I started out. And I said to myself, I think I was in the key of, yeah, C sharp, good. So I was in the key of C sharp. Again, I said to you, for my arrangements, and when I'm arranging, most times I don't know what the end product is going to be. All I had in my head was just that one beat. And I said to myself, all right, doom, dum, da doom, dum. And again, you need to understand the elements, have an idea. It's good to have an idea of some of the elements you want to have in place. So for me, I'm thinking, immediately when I started playing the beat, I'm thinking, keys. What could I play over this beat? So let's say, boom. So I was there just like this. Let me see if I can recreate my thought process. All right. All right. And then I said, maybe I can build up and go into one beat. So it started like, all right, what kind of chord could I play over this? All right. So. All right. So I'm on. Yeah. Feel like it could have. So while all of this is happening, I'm playing drums, you know, but I'm literally playing keys in my mind at the same time. So all of this is happening at the same time. Some people can think holistically. Some people can't, or some people don't. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the reality about it, I didn't play everything at once. You know, these elements came together one by one. So it doesn't matter. But for me, I heard the beat and I started playing the beat. I started thinking about the type of keys, the type of sound I'm going for. And by the time I got to that beat and say, all right, yeah, man, I hear a little chord and I say, all right, I'm playing in C sharp, so I can play this chord. You guys are seeing the keyboard, right? Just to be, everybody seeing the keyboard?
Yeah, man.
Okay, good. So I'm playing C sharp, major 7. You get me? So that is what I really was playing. And of course, the keys are the notes rather in this card. And if you want to make it fatter, up to you. You could play it like this too. You see that voicing or inversion, whichever. So these are the notes that make up the card. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you know, I'll give you an idea what it is. So the cards that I'm playing is really this card right here, and then flat 7. So let me see, basic, C major 7, and then I'm playing flat 7. That's really what I'm playing. And of course, I just add a little, add some more notes or whatever, just to fat up that card, or just to give it some more body, or just to texture or whatever. So really 1 to flat 7. That's really what I'm playing right there. So and let me give you an overview of this arrangement, and then I'll break it down again, guys. I don't know, tell me if I'm going too fast or whatever. I'm just really trying to touch everything with the little time that we have. But the idea is I started. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, man.
Yes, we're here.
Keep going, man.
Yeah, something is happening here.
No keywords though.
Yeah, let's see if we can fix that. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's back. Okay, good. All right. So the thing I was saying, where was I again? So yeah. So when I heard the card, or when I heard the card in my head, wow. So I said to myself, all right, a C sharp major 7-year, or whatever. This top note right here is a defining note. So, and I said to myself, what else could I add to this to make this arrangement? Are the arranging of these cards, card progression? What could I add? So I said to myself, again, I tell you the type of player that I am. If you're on earlier, I said to you that most of my cards are really melody based. They come from a melody or something. I always have a melody that's in my chord structures. A melody or a note that stands out, always. All of my chords are made from a note. I think about a note and I say, how can I complement this note? That's how I approach my chord structures. So again, so just to ensure that we're at least jotting or, seeing the progression of these points. So the first thing you want to do is to have an idea or a direction of where you want the arrangement to go. You need to have an idea of the feel the arrangement needs to have. Or it's really all based on you. There's no right or wrong when it comes on to creating. That type of thinking kills the creative energy, and you don't want that. So there's no right and wrong. Firstly, it's whatever you want to do, right? So that's that. Again, when you think about these things, think about them. If it's a band arrangement, think about the other instruments that are involved. Think about arranging like cooking. Yeah, I think that's a very good thing to like it to. So liking it to. With cooking, you don't put everything in the pot all at once. You get me? Unless, no. I was going to say if it's a one pot. Not even when it's a one pot, you put everything in it at once. No. You get me? So when you're cooking, for example, let's say we're boiling soup. You know what I mean? You want to put the water on, and you need to put there are certain elements. If you're putting your Irish in it, you want it to boil out or soften out first or whatever. The point is, and even with seasoning, you have to add things in stages. That's number one. And the reality about it, when it comes together, it makes something that is beautiful. Now, I want to touch on a point. I don't want to really be all over the place, but I want to touch a point that just came to me. And I think most musicians, they forget this point. Let me stop sharing for a second. Most musicians, they forget this point when they're arranging sometimes. Again, I said there's no right and wrong arrangement when you're creating, but there's something that is called appropriateness. Good. So that is my next point. Have an idea firstly, have a direction of where you want the arrangement to go. And I think maybe this would be best for point 2, now that I think about it. You need to think about what you're arranging and why you're arranging it. What you're arranging, possibly for who you're arranging, and why. I guess the why will take into consideration the who. So what you are arranging and why you're arranging. Because, for example, if it's, this is Jamaica, and most times we arrange for JCDC festivals and stuff like that. If it's a JCDC, if it's a band arrangement, then the rubric for that, competition is going to be different. What the judges are looking for is going to be different. And you have to think about these key things, whether it be creativity, whether it be musicianship, whether it be whatever. You have to think about these things when you're creating and when you're arranging, so that each item on the rubric can be ticked off. So that's number one. So you need to think about what you're arranging and why you're arranging it. And again, the why takes into consideration who you're arranging for or what you're arranging for. If it's a church arrangement, think about a church setting and you're arranging a piece of music. I don't think I could have go play Spain, for a church setting. And, one would say, of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, of course you can. But the reality about it, Spain, by virtue of what it is, and by virtue of the type of people who are in the church setting, most times it's above their head. It will just go over their head. They can't appreciate it simply because most times they can't understand it. So you have to think about the people who you're playing for, the people who you're arranging for, and of course the people who you are arranging with too. So those are just, maybe minor things to some people, but it's a big deal. I see TJ, you have a question. I don't mind taking questions in between. You can go ahead.
Okay. I was really wondering, but quick clarification.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between arrangements and compositions. What do you think those mean? Because as far as I am listening, it's almost as if the piece that you played, you created. It wasn't really created off of something. Am I correct?
I created it just for this class or just for this presentation.
Okay, sir. So if you created it, isn't it a composition and not so much an arrangement?
But a composition, I mean, there are arrangements within compositions too, TJ. Okay. The process towards composing still takes into consideration arranging.
Okay.
Because arranging, as even what the word suggests, is really how you put things, how you put them around each other, how they complement each other, whether you put this before this, put this after this. You get what I'm saying? So while composing, and I think it's a very good question, I appreciate your question, because maybe someone might be thinking the same thing, that, well, that's not arranging. But really and truly, when you're composing, the arranging factor or the arranging element has to come in play, because what you put before, how you play I remember my definition earlier. I think I was more on the basis of vocals, but it's still, the principle to it still applies to band arrangement. This has to do with how a song is sung. In the case of band, this has to do with how a song is played. You get what I'm saying? And the elements that come together to make it. With vocals, it's be it harmonies, melodies, ad-libs, whatever, and how they work around each other. In the case of band movements or band compositions or arrangement, each element, each instrument, each riff, each run, each melody, how they work around, how you place them around each other. So, good question. But composing, of course, there is the arranging element that is involved in it just the same.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So, continuing, very good question again, TJ, big up. But the point is, guys, I was on the whole matter of what you're arranging, and who you're arranging for. Again, when you're arranging, keep in mind what are the direction in which you want things to go. Good. So earlier I said to you, most times I don't know what my arrangements are going to be. For this specific arrangement, I didn't, sounds like MKS. That's what you're using, right? Yes. Whoever asked that question, that's exactly what I'm using. That look like Delano. Big up Delano. That's exactly what I'm using. But so TJ, let me see if I can use your question to narrow down a few things. So again, in this case, when you're arranging vocals, naturally, one thing that is going to come out is harmonies. Harmonies, be it and parts, melodies. sometimes when we're singing songs. So again, let me go back to Logics, and let me see if I can fast forward to let me see if I can fast forward to TJ, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, good. So let's see if I can use your question to really narrow down on a few factors here. Listen to this. You're listening, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's arrangement there in its like literally. The point is, I thought about a beat first, right? And the next thing I thought about was the chord structures or the chords which I would apply to the same beat. And then the next thing that came after was the melody, right? And again, I said to you, most of my chord structures come from a melody. So, and I said to myself, this top note right here, all right, what melody could I make off that, all right? Ooh, this sound like it sound good, so all right. Nice. And when I thought about the melody, TJ, the next thing that came to mind, what kind of words could I apply to these melodies? So it started from a beat. You're following me, TJ?
Yeah.
It started out really from a beat, you know? And then it moved on to the chords. So again, same cooking process, you know, started out from little water, boil, and you add whatever. So it started out with a beat, then I added chords, then I added a melody, then I added words to those melodies. That is the approach that I took to this arrangement. You get me? So, you know, of course, a composition, as you said earlier, which it is, but it's really an arrangement. I arranged it. And what makes it arrangement are, you know, the arranging elements to this, TJ, is the fact that I placed chords around the beat. And then I thought about the melody to play over these chords. You get me?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. And then I added words. So again, arranging is really all the elements coming together, or all the elements, firstly, in its raw state, and how you move chords, beat, melodies, words, and you put them around each other. What works best? What works better? What sounds better? You know what I mean? So that's really what it is. And the thing is, TJ, hold on. You still seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Good. So you hearing me? Good. So perfect. If you listen to the development of the music, you'd realize, well, I guess you might not realize, but for me ain't know what me I do. I just know that I had a beat, I had a chord, and then I thought about how could I make this more interesting by, you know, altering the time, you know, where the one was. Hear this now. I hope you enjoy yourself. Hear this now. So that beat, TJ moved from, you know, kind of groovy type of beat, and then it just turned over into reggae. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that in itself, and I was deliberate with the reggae because, of course, as Jamaicans, you know, we can relate to reggae even when we don't play it 100, you know. But the thing is, we can all relate to reggae because it is, you know, embedded in our roots. So the point I'm making is, you saw how that, you know, transition from that groovy type of beat into, you know, a reggae, which is much more, you know, it's still groovy, but it gives you a totally different feel by virtue of the genre that is fused into it, or that, you know, I introduced at that stage of the arrangement. So, yeah. So again, have an idea firstly, and another thing to bring out the second point that I made about think about who you're arranging for or what you're arranging and why you're arranging. An arrangement like that is very simple, and that is fitting, I believe, for something like this. Because I be a musician the here, so it's very simple. I don't think I could have done anything any more simple than that. But everybody can understand it. You get me? It wasn't too complex. You never feel full of syncopations or no, I didn't need to do all of that. It was a quick idea that I did. I thought about it and I said, all right, I don't have a lot of time. I had some other stuff doing. Let me see if I can chop up something and give the guys. You get me? So the thing is, so think about why you're doing it. In this case, the presentation. And I think it transitions from one feel or one type of genre, and it goes over into another. You can literally hear when the music change. You can feel when the music change because by virtue of the instruments or the elements or the approach to each section of the song. So I was deliberate. If you listen to TJ and others, I was singing. So I was singing, welcome to the show. That was for you. Welcome to the show. Why didn't I sing la 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 na 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 la 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 na 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 and then sing welcome at the ending? I could have done that too. So even in the case of logics where arranging is concerned, the thing must be logical, and it flows very good when the thing can make sense. Why did somebody saying something? Okay, so why did I put welcome to the show? I'm welcoming you first, and then of course me give you something, groovy or something you can bounce to. So even the arrangement, TJ and others, arranging what part comes first, or deciding rather what part comes first. Does the reggae come first? Does the harmony come first? Do I sing just my vocals alone by itself? Because I could have harmonized that section too. Welcome, welcome to the show. I could have done that too. But I said, why not start with a single voice? Sing by myself. Welcome to the show. Here we go. And again, in this case, I played chords before the melodies or before the words. So in this case, the words are my melody that I sung would have to follow the chords because I did that first. I could have maybe heard the melody and the words first, and then decide how I want the chord structure to be. So it's all about arranging. That's arranging, TJ. Composing, same arranging. You know what I mean? So again, guys, I think if you're listening, I had vocals in this. I had, of course, band. That is why I did it live, because I use a sample or a click or something. And I said, no, let me go play. Let me go and play live keys. Let me play live drums, live bass, and of course the other elements. Let me sing live. Not the best singer, but I said, let me do this so you guys can at least see the approach that I took with this. Of course, I laid the foundation with the lead vocals. Welcome to the show. La 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 la. 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 So I could have done a lot of stuff with it. La 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 la. La la la. So, all right. So let me use this opportunity now, because as I'm talking to you, I'm hearing some other stuff in my head. So, la 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 la. La 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 la. Let me see if that's is that the harmony? Yeah, I think it is. La 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 la. La 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 la. So chord wise, I could have done a lot of stuff with that. So I could have went to the flat 7 there too with the chords. I could have done a lot of stuff because so could I do this too? No? So there are a number of things I could have done with it. So yes, you see why it's arranging, TJ, because every step of it, one way or the other, takes into consideration first seasoning you added already last. Okay. I'm just actually looking at the question or some of the comments now. TJ said the first seasoning you add or seasonings you add are usually the last you taste. All right, here. Basically how you, yes, Lucian, basically how you organize things, very good. I see you talking about reharming right there, TJ. So there are a number of factors when it comes down to arranging. You know what I mean? So everything coming together is arranging, because just as, oh, Lucian, this word is really what I should have used. How you organize the thing. What comes before what? What comes together with what comes under whatever, to emphasize, because maybe if I wanted to emphasize a word or whatever, I could have maybe used a harmony or something, or I could have stacked up as a certain set of vocals on that word, or I could have even sung, sing it unison or whatever. So, there are a number of things you can do. So let me go back to, some of the things I really wanted to pull out. The question was, what makes a good arrangement? What makes a good arrangement? What makes a good arrangement? So for me, I'll answer it. I don't know if anyone had that question in their head, but I'll answer it by saying a good arrangement comes to light when you are very deliberate about what you do. That's in my opinion. A good arrangement comes to light or comes to life when you are very deliberate about what you're arranging. Now, what does that mean? Again, the first thing I said, or one of the points I made earlier, was you must know who you're arranging for, why you're arranging. The arrangement must fit, the occasion, or the situation. So for me, another thing, of course, is the creativity behind it. Creativity is always one of those factors or one of those elements that, you want to highlight in any arrangement. An arrangement that you can identify the creativeness in someone's, piece is very good. You think about their approach, what they were thinking about, some of the ideas that came out in the arrangement, all of these things. For me, again, the smoothness and the what would I say now? Is everyone still there? I realized something happened on my screen. Check.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so another thing that makes a good arrangement is being sensitive to each section that you're trying to display or you're trying to bring across. Again, it goes right back to being deliberate. Being sensitive, being deliberate about what you're doing. Thinking about, would this work better here? For me, you can hear a good arrangement because you can see the smoothness of it, especially when it comes down to transitioning. So those are some of the things in answering it. Those are some of the things to bear in mind too. To what really makes a good arrangement. The fact that, of course, you're deliberate. It fits the occasion or fits the situation, the scenario, the competition, the event. You get me? And of course, when you are sensitive to each section, as it relates to transitions, as it relates to what you play, as it relates to the different sections that you highlight, and the elements that you use to highlight these sections too. Whether it be vocals or instruments, if you use maybe a brass, our horn section to highlight this specific melody that you want to come out in the arrangement, whether you use some strings, would it be a good space? Again, okay, here's another point too. Placement is important for me when it comes down to arrangement. Placement is very important, and sometimes that makes the difference, with an arrangement that can be appreciated by the audience or your listener, than somebody else will have a really good arrangement or an arrangement, a bunch of stuff are happening, and them just can't appreciate it because the placement was not right, it wasn't fitting. For me, another thing to bear in mind, guys, sometimes less is more. Less is more, less is more, less is more. For me, as a producer, sometimes, you know, and as a musician, I have a lot of ideas. I love doing runs. I love runs. Me love, you know, the pentatonic scale. Me love put all sorts of stuff in my arrangements. But then I have to be mindful of what I'm arranging, what I'm producing, what I'm composing. You know what I mean? Because if it doesn't fit, especially where, you know, I'll just touch on this point as a producer, or from the, you know, the viewpoint of a producer. Sometimes the artist wants a specific thing, and you have to tap into what the artist is trying, especially when they come with nothing more than just an idea. You have to tap into what they're trying to, you know, what they're envisioning. You have to tap into that vision as a producer to produce or to create that thought that they have. Because most times, 9 out of 10 times, they just have a few words or they just have an idea, you know what I mean? And you have to bring that to light. So you have to be very sensitive where that is concerned and very deliberate. Less is more. Don't try to overdo and overplay. Don't try to put every idea get in your mind. Just put it so. For me, when you're composing or when you're doing a draft or a raw take, come into your brain now. You know, it's fine to lay your ideas down, just put out everything. That's good. And I just want you to understand me so that you don't think I'm contradicting myself, right? Again, when it comes down to arranging, less is more, and you don't need to put all your ideas in to whatever your final product. But when you're brainstorming and when you're trying to arrive at the destination, it is good when you have all the elements working with, all your ideas, lay them out, play them, and then you decide, you pick and choose, you know, from what you want to use to, you know, to make or to arrive at your destination. Go ahead, Bree.
Good night, everybody. So I know you said earlier that you have to remember, you know, who you are arranging for. So I just wanted to ask the question, do you arrange the same, or is it the same thought process when you're doing something for the corporate world? And how do you approach that?
All right, very good question. Very good question. Very good question. It goes right back to the deliberateness. And, you know, of course, the question is, do I approach it the same? And the answer is no. For each arrangement, if we're being sensitive and we're being deliberate for the situation, you know, or the occasion, then of course, not every situation will require the same amount of energy or, of course, the same approach. Cannot be. So when, for me, corporate stuff. So for example, let me share this with you right now as I'm speaking. For me, let me see if I can share this. Music. Oh, all right, good. Are you guys hearing that track? I just started and I stopped it. Just let me know if you're hearing. Yes or no? Did you hear it?
No.
No? All right, let me see if I can pull this. Let me see if I can pull this into Ableton right now. All right. I definitely want to show you guys this. So let me use this as a very good example. So downloads. All right, good. All right, good. All right, nice, perfect. So let's go there. So let me see if I can share my screen with you guys again and show you this track right here, Ableton. Let's go. Share. Boom. So now you guys are seeing my screen with Ableton, correct?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, this is not the track. Let's move this out that way. Okay. Let's see if we can take out the warp off this. Whatever about it. So, what is go again? Okay. Okay. So you guys are hearing the track now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Listen to this track for me.
Together, we're better together.
Play it for a few seconds.
I hope you can see you're better together. Digicel and you living in harmony.
So
That I did good. If there's anything about me, I'm not lazy. How come?
No, because in the end now,
all right, so that's true. Don't be lazy when you're arranging. Woo. All right, so that was Better Together. That was actually Digicel's theme, or Digicel's, what do you call it, slogan of recent time is Better Together. What I did was to create a theme song. And I'm using this to answer Brianna's question, because she asked me the question, do I take the same approach for corporate stuff? And no. There was a rubric, or I had an idea of what Digicel was looking for when I was creating that. And I tried to cater rather to those little elements where lyrically was really on a lyrical focus, where they're concerned, trying to bring out some of the little themes that they have and some of the stuff that they do. But musically, I wanted something, I thought about something that if you're on your phone listening, and maybe, Digicel love to put people on hold. Hope nobody no cuss me for that, and whatever. And sometimes on the phone, you want something to listen to, something that can be soothing. So I thought about, the people who I, would be listening to this song. The minute you hear this, it have a little feel. And of course, it's musical. So for me, Brianna, do I take the same approach when I'm arranging for a corporate world, or maybe just the regular man or whatever? No. Again, all scenarios or situations are going to be different, and you must think about the elements which are involved in these situations, or what would I say now? What is required of you? What is the competition asking? What is Digicel really asking you to do for them, where this jingle is concerned or whatever? What is the church event, or the event? What is the event asking of me? What do I need to produce? So you need to think about what you're producing. Again, the appropriateness, which I spoke about earlier, the appropriateness for the event or the situation. And then, of course, that will guide you along the way when you're putting your elements, your different elements together. So that was off the bat of, I hope I answered your question, Brianna. So the approach is different. That's really the answer to that. The approach is different, and for each situation, of course, I try to cater to what the situation really requires. Think about it holistically. What does the event need? What does the competition need? What does the client need really? And of course, try to clamp down on those elements, and then of course use that as a guide to reach my final destination. Right? The use of harmonies, dyads, triads, all of that jazz. I think when you have even a basic foundation of music theory, it helps. It will definitely shape the way how you approach. So for all those musicians who are very skilled, being skilled is very good, but it's good to have a good music foundation, at least a basic foundation, which you continuously build on, because of course, these elements, when you think about even theoretically, does this make sense? Jacob Collier, he did a presentation, or he did a seminar I was watching, and he was really talking about notes, in the fact that there is no wrong or right notes. When you're playing, you just have to think about what comes after, whether it comes before or what comes after. Because if I play this, if I'm in playing, all right, let me come out a C sharp. Listen to we can go in another key, So let's say I'm here in F sharp, for example, and so so that sounds good, because the chords that I played complemented that little melody. But what if I did this? And granted, right now I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something and show you. So
Remove the screen share.
Huh?
Take down the screen share.
Oh, sorry. Okay, better for you guys.
Yeah.
So ba da 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 6 7 1 2 3 6 flat 6. Okay. Da 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 6 7 7 1 2 2 1. Yeah. So you get the whole idea. Da 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 da. So you know that sounds good if I'm playing. Da, 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 da. But what if I did this? Da, da, so da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. So let me see if I can approach that or complement that note. Da, 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 da. Are you guys hearing that?
Yes.
So you know, automatically it doesn't sound all that bad. You know, at first you have to say how that would have come, or even da 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 da. Let me see if I can complement that too. Da 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 da. Okay. Da 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 da. You know. So the point is, Jacob said that, yo, there's really no right and wrong key. You know, you just have to really think about where you're going with it. And of course, what plays after complements the note, the melody, or whatever that comes before. So if you take that same approach, even with arranging, you realize that is really what I was speaking to about, you know, it's not really no right and wrong when it comes on to arranging, because really it depends on you, what you're doing. But you must think about the elements that are involved and what complements what as you move from point A to point B. Arranging, what makes a good arrangement is when you cater to what is being asked of you. So they are, you know, silently, there are questions being asked each time you're going to arrange something. And you must answer them with whatever you do. Each thing you do, that is literally you answering those questions. Again, these questions most times are subjected to what you're arranging and why you're arranging it. You get me? So again, as long as we're deliberate with these things, as long as we're sensitive to these things, then of course you will always come out with a good arrangement. There is a creative trait that is within you that only you have. And you know, so your arrangement is going to be good because it's yours. But again, you know, you must cater to these questions that are being asked just before you create. Any questions?
All right, Sir Rio. You hear me, Rio?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
That was awesome, bro. Awesome presentation. All right, I'm sure the guys learned a whole lot from that presentation. I noticed that you have been interacting with them during the course of the presentation. All right, so we are going to continue the same trend into our question and answer. And we do, at this time, we do take questions from YouTube and also Zoom.
Okay.
So guys, you know, Ria was asking for you guys to open up your cameras and stuff like that. Now is the time to get into the interaction with the Q&A. Open up your cameras and your mics whenever you are going to speak. All right, we don't want the cameras and microphones all over the place like what happened a couple of minutes ago. All right, so but Ria, continue with the question. I did leave some of the questions from my interview. I know you do work with schools, right? And you train children. All right, explain to us, how do you go about approaching that?
Oh my gosh. You and these questions, Chris. All right, so very good question. Let me see if I can use the literal material that I've given, or the stuff that I've said before. When I think about arranging both band, because of course I used to teach, as a teacher. I taught at Knox. I taught a few schools, Spaldings. I've taught Denby High School. and each, you said kids, so let me focus on the babies. I was at Knox Junior School, and Knox Junior School is from pre-K to grade 6. So, these are primary, both early childhood and primary students. How do I approach that? Now, naturally, you have to factor in the children's, what would I say now, ability. You have to factor in what they can play. So now this boils down to being deliberate and the sensitivity of the elements that are in play. In this case, the children. I couldn't expect the children to play, and to be honest, and I want you to understand what I'm saying when I say this. There are just certain things you couldn't expect them to play, or let me say, expect them to play as quickly as someone else. Good. Let me put it like that. I once learned from a principal, at Knox Junior School, Mrs. Constance Malcolm. She once said to me, Mr. Ferran, don't stoop to the children's level. Let them come up to yours. And that stuck with me to this very day. What does that mean? Kids will blow your minds away. I promise you that. Don't underestimate them. Don't underestimate them. They can play whatever it is you give them to play. It's just a matter of breaking down, and of course the method that you use to, bring across or to break down whatever theory or piece of music or, whatever content, whatever it is you're trying to show them. It's just a matter of how you approach it and how you break it down, but they can play. So for me, Chris, the answer to that, how do I approach it? Again, it takes a lot of patience. In this case, you just have to think about the core things that make up whatever you're teaching them. I've taught Knox Junior School kids, the band. I've taught them to play Spain by Chick Corea. Yeah, man, them play it. I have videos as proof. I've got them to sing harmonies, all sorts of parts. How many parts? I've got them to sing songs with different textures and different, tones, all of them at the same time. I've got them to understand what it is to harmonize, what it is to, to sing unison, these basic things, what it is, as a choir, just to have that oneness, or that blend. I've explained these things and broken it down for them, and they understood. So for me, Chris, how do I approach this? It's just a matter of catering to the kids. In that case, they're young. They might not be as fast, but you just have to be patient, and just be very sensitive to who exactly you're working with.
All right, let me show our viewers and subscribers. I don't know which school this is.
Oh, I'm not hearing anything though. Oh,
all right. So which school was that?
So that was Denby High School. I was actually working with, it was a choir of about 50 members. So that was Denby High School's, I think it was their 50th anniversary. That was like maybe 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah. And that was their 50th anniversary. And as you can see, you see adults, there are kids there, and the band were the students. It was made up of the students. I think I see about 2 other students on this too. I see Lucian, and I think Jordan was here too. Yeah, man, big up Jordan, big up Lucian. So the thing about that now, well, I guess I haven't heard the question. So that was Denby High School, and that was their 50th anniversary. And I was asked to arrange and to, put together a 50 piece, choir, 50 members in that choir, and of course the band. And I chose that song, Total Praise, as a good choir song, to arrange the vocals and so forth. And that's exactly what we did.
Cool. All right, let's take a question from TJ again. TJ is a guy that will ask you questions all night, So, TJ.
Yes, that is definitely me. It is. So good night again, everybody. So in your process of arrangements, you tend to play what you hear. You also mentioned a method of creation that I would understand because most times I do some form of productions at times, and when I do, I just think of some form of a beat or I just do something and then whatever flows flows. But in the case of like, for example, trying to complement something that is already written, or probably it wasn't even created by you, what would be your take or approach on such situations?
All right, nice. Very good question, TJ. TJ, you asked very good question.
Thank you.
All right. The thing about arranging stuff that is already created, the thing with that is you have something working with. So that's good for you. You get me? You're hearing me, right, TJ? So
Yes.
you have that going for you already. The fact that something is created. So maybe someone else would say it makes it harder because it's already created. For me, I think you already have a structure that's in place, and it's just a matter of reorganizing or adding to complement or to add emphasis on whatever you're creating. So for me, the approach that I take, like a song, I try to pick out, the melodies, or, understanding firstly what you're trying to arrange is very important. So let's say a song like Total Praise, like in the case at Denby High School that I took. I had to listen to the song. I have to listen to the song because you can't arrange it if you don't understand how the song progresses. You get me? So you have to listen to the song and understand that material or whatever it is that you have working with. Understand it. Understand how it moves from point A to point B, how it progresses. Does it have dynamics, or does it, the song builds by reach a certain section? Understand these things because whoever created it was very deliberate. We're assuming when they did these things. So for you now, you have to understand each section of what you're working with. And then the sweet part come. You now take your creative self or creative side, and then you add your spin to it. In arranging, you decide, do I want to emphasize or add emphasis on this section of the song? If they sing, la, if they sing, la, 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 all right, them sing, la, 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 la. All right, what could I do with that? So it boils down to you what you want to do. You think about it as a keyboardist, la, 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 la. Do I want to, raise the key right there? So when them do that part, do I want to add harmonies? La, 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 whatever I sang before, I don't know. The point is, you just have to think about each section of it, TJ. You think about the areas that you want to arrange or you want to add emphasis to. You want to switch. You want to raise it. You just have to take it piece by piece, and it's really left to you, as I've been saying, when it comes down to arranging. It's just a matter of your individual unique input, or touch on that element. In this case, something that is already created, you have that going for you. You have something working with. It's just a matter of you. Think about it like a room, TJ. You have a room that is already furnished, furniture in there already. The TV is over there, so the bed over there, so and the dresser there right there. So you come in the room, you look at it, and you say to yourself, this doesn't look like me, or I want to add my feel to this room. So what you do, you put the TV over there. So instead, as a matter of fact, you put the TV in the ceiling because you feel like the TV, when you lay down, then if you're looking at the ceiling and watch the TV, whatever you do, it will work because it's your arrangement. You get what I mean? And you feel like, two TV need in a room. So in the song, they raise the song once, you raise it twice. You raise it as a section that you think that the song needed, to go to a different level, or, so it really boils down to what you want to do, and you have that working with if you have something that is already created.
All right, sorry. I know you have to. Thanks, TJ. I know you have to leave for your show.
Yeah.
You have your show after this, but I just want you to highlight some of the persons, or maybe mention some of the persons that you have actually worked with over the years as a musician.
Wow. All right. This is going to be a very random list. I won't call certain names simply because uh, it was meaningful to me. And someone might ask, oh, if you play for them and it was meaningful. For me, I believe I've gotten a lot of opportunities to play with a lot of people, playing a lot of stages, both locally and internationally. But there are a lot of things that weren't meaningful to me where they didn't add much value to, where I am as a person. I believe for each stage, and I'm just, I'm probably going off, but I want you to understand for each opportunity that you get, it's an opportunity that I believe that should add some value to you as a musician. Sometimes, which is why we shouldn't be eager for opportunities too. And there are certain gigs that we must understand that we must turn down because they add no value. Sometimes them end up, make you out to be worse, by virtue of the experiences. But I've worked with DJ Nicholas, in the gospel sector or gospel on the gospel fence. I work with DJ Nicholas. I played for Kevin Downsell already. I currently play for Rondell Positive as one of his keyboardists. Um, I've played for Kevin Heat. I've played, I mean, on stages, I'm playing my band is back in an event, naturally a lot of artists will come on. Jeremy and Edos will come on, Keys appeared. I'm just calling random names because it's really a lot of, I've played for a lot of gospel people, because of course, gospel, you think about gospel, you think about me. But, on the secular side of things, I play for Shensia, currently too. I've played for Munga, Honorable. I've played for Lali. I've played for Squash. I've played for TJ. Big of TJ. I've played for Mr. Shensi already, though. Yeah. So for me, I don't do a lot of secular gigs. And I guess persons who understand the church setting, you would understand why. But really and truly as a producer and as a creative, I'm trying to really take myself out of that box because there are a lot of opportunities are there, that can be meaningful. You as the person, as the individual, have to weigh what you think will be beneficial. But for me, I'm a gospel lover, but of course, secularly, I play, as long as it's beneficial or I think it's meaningful, and I don't think that takes away from my foundation, where Christendom is concerned. But at the end of the day, I've played for those people along with some others who I can't remember now at the moment.
Awesome, awesome. Sir Rio, I would definitely like to thank you for passing through the studios of the Music Hacks Network.
Thank you for
All
having me. I
right,
really
let me
appreciate it.
say that this was an informative presentation, and I'm sure we all learned a lot. All right, at this time, I am going to ask you to play one more tune while we leave
Put me
the
on the spot now.
studios. TJ, you're saying short, but Rio has another show.
There's one question that I just want to answer. I know I have to leave, but just to ensure that we're catering to all the people on Music Hacks. I think someone asked the question, shed some light on the effectiveness of unison in arrangements. The thing is, unison, as even the prefix uni speaks to one. This is when singers, more likely, are singing, one part, one, harmony or whatever, one pitch, one melody. Everybody's singing pretty much the same part, or you understand. That's really what it is, and even the approach to singing unison is even, as the word suggests, thinking oneness, because at times people will be singing the same note, singing the same pitch, and they're sticking out, meaning you can hear them individually, but approaching unison is really, are being singing an effective unison, or using unison effectively, is really being sensitive to what it really is, and that's really singing one part, of course everybody coming together singing one accord. Funny. Singing one part, and of course you hear that oneness in sound. So yeah, Chris, that's it. I hope I answered that question, TJ.
Awesome. All right. Before you play Surreal, how can we reach you on social media?
Okay, so on Instagram, you can reach me at Sir underscore, sorry, Sir underscore Rio. That's SIR underscore REO. So the Rio is REO. Yes. On Facebook, you can find me at Denario Ferron. My business page, both on Facebook and Instagram, is D as in donut, F as in fries, DF Productions. JA. You can find us there. My business page is under my page as well too, where you can find DF Productions and all the services that we offer here. If you are looking for a studio, a rehearsal space, we have it here. We have all the instruments fully furnished, rigs, guitar rigs, bass rigs, keyboards, drum set, all of that, monitors. We do multi-track recording too. So, if you have an event or a gig or a pre-recording, especially in this time, you can come here. We get that done for you. We do mixing, we do mastering, we do jingle production. If you need a song, a jingle for a commercial or, for a church or an event or whatever it is, we do that too. If you need, what would I say, vocal training as a teacher, DF Productions, myself as a teacher, I offer that too, piano lessons, bass, drums, whatever it is. We do lighting, we do photography, we provide, streaming. If you're trying to do stream, we have all the gears, cameras, all of that jazz. We do photography, graphic design, videography, and so forth. We do all of that jazz, backline, rental, and if you need lighting, up lighting for events and whatnot, we have that too. Of course, we have the studio where we record. You need vocals recorded or whatever. We cater to everything production. And you can find us here in Mapen, Clarendon. And, so that's how you reach us. Or via email, you can email me at reodan12@gmail.com. That's reodan12@gmail.com or dfproductionsja@gmail.com.
Yes, for real. Thank you. It was a great show. Thanks for being here, bro. So you're gonna play your last song and then we will close the live stream. Guys on Zoom, please stay, don't leave. All right?
Chris, you're putting me on the spot. Putting me on the spot, bro.
And I do need a jingle that you started with, all right?
All right, we'll do. I'll email it to you. This quick. I think it's fitting to sing something for you guys.